but you must get some sleep. You gotta know when to say, that.
Divine Life Soul Tribe and Chicago Swing Goddess. So here today I'm going to speak about the elements and the aspects of getting a good night's rest or possibly a nap. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start step one, the benefits of getting good rest. And I'll give you all some personal experiences. So when life is at your neck, we'll say, we sometimes compromise with the time that we're putting in. We feel as though if we put more time in, we'll get better results, right? But here's what happened. If you start spending a certain amount of time putting yourself into the position where as though you're just working, you're not experiencing anything in life other than the work that you're doing, and then you find that you're staying up, you're not getting any rest because you're in your mind thinking like, I can sleep when I'm dead, right? Or these dreams won't sleep, so why should I, as, someone that I used to know would say. And we get to this point where as though we'll compromise our vessels just for the sake of getting to that next level, right? Not recognizing that in those moments that our temple is what gets us to that next level. So, step two, I'll say, make sure you're getting at least 4 hours of sleep a night. And yes, that sounds like a lot to somebody who's not used to getting any sleep. And it can also sound like not enough to someone who's used to getting pounds of sleep. So when you are operating in your vessel, there are organs and things like that that need a time to rest. Have you ever worked, and then you just find that you're kind of like zombie like, when it's time to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor? That's an example. And even an even greater example, I'll give y'all one for me personally. So I was at a point, single mother, and I was working like a hound. Like, I'm not joking. So I would say I had 3 jobs, and I was literally only getting like 4 hours or maybe like 6 hours of sleep a month, right? And I'm thinking that's like all fine and dandy because I had done it before. But before when I was doing it, let's just say like it's in like a 10-year span, like 8 years ago, I was working like that. It really didn't appear to be such a thing, like my body was still resilient and everything like that, and it's still very resilient now. But then at that point in time, it was like, I was just gaining a lot of weight because I found like my energy source was coming from like the food and things like that. So I was gaining a lot of weight, and that obviously wasn't healthy. But then when at that point in time, like 8 years ago, I ended up having a stroke out of nowhere, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on, right? So that was an implement of the stress as well as like the, the lack of sleep. And, then I was like in an abusive relationship at that point in time, and it was like, oh, so crazy. Like, it was so crazy. But listen, all that goes into the next point. So moving forward, like years later, like I was literally like working these 3 jobs, and I wasn't getting any sleep. I was literally getting like 4 to 6 hours of sleep per month. And y'all like, how could she do that? Like, when you're in that energy, you get to that. But I wasn't able to enjoy the fruits of my labor because I was always so tired. And, my children, they really, for me were like my like energy to like keep pushing forward, So I'm so thankful for them because coming in from work and things like that, you take care of the things that you need to do for the family. And, then you find the time that you have for yourself, which is sometimes designated in the hours that are usually designated for sleeping. So that's my split. What I do want to say though is get some rest, because what I found during those times where I was literally only getting 6 hours of sleep, that was different, which from the first set of times where I was literally like just gaining weight, trying to keep the energy to stay awake, and then actually staying awake
and just working. But I was not eating a lot at that time. I was literally like mostly fasting and things like that. So, but my blood pressure ended up getting like super high, and I was just like, whoa, where the fuck did this come from? Like, but I'm so thankful because I noticed what was going on. I was like, you know what? If building my dreams means breaking down my body, then I'm not for it, you know? So they have to work hand in hand together. You have to have like a synchronistic approach to working and creating. So yeah, like you could be like, you know, sometimes for me, I could be like creating music or something like that, and I'll literally be like sleep, like creating because like the energy is just flowing through, right? Um, Also, you know, I find that sometimes in those hours, you know, that it's easier to create, but you must get some sleep. You got to know when there's a, you know, that get a notebook, write down those thoughts while you still have that energy, and you know, move forward because really, like, if you're not here, because you decided that you didn't want your body to rest in the process of you creating, let your mind, you know, reshift and revamp to get that great divine energy that you're entitled to, you know, every moment of every second of every day. You won't be able to like enjoy the fruits of your labor. So here we are. Make sure you get some rest and make sure you take care of yourself. You meditate, create, and experience just your essence and know that your temple is what's needed to house that essence. And you are the prime creator, but your vessel also needs you to help it create as well. So if you want those good thoughts and those good energies and those good creative vibes to continue flowing through you, you must take care of your temple. You must get some rest. So that's the word for today. She got a Queen Goddess. Just know, do y'all know I love y'all.